Hello, hello. It is Carmen here with Mako, and today we're going to review the glaze profile for our stoneware glaze, Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye is a variegated brown glaze that builds from a dark to light brown with subsequent coats. It does have red and purple undertones and will have a glossy finish. This glaze also breaks great over texture due to its variegated and application dependent nature. Starting out the label here, here we have our results on a white stoneware body fired to cone 6. We'll review the cone 5 to 10 results today. On the side here, we have our ACMI seal, dinnerware safe, and then our lot numbers. The lot number you'll want to report to technical if you do have any issues, and if you have questions about a glaze's dinnerware safe standing, check out the individual color page on our website under additional information, and that is where you will find that there. First, we'll do an application demo to show how I did these tiles here with our 1, 2, and 3 coats. So this glaze, it's actually kind of funny, in the brushing formulation, this glaze is red, but our dipping formulation, the wet glaze, is going to be black. So don't be alarmed if you're a dipper and your glaze looks a little bit different than that. It's kind of just how it is. So here we have our tile. I'm going to use our number 4 fan. As always, I showcase our number 8 fan as well. This is great for you light-handed individuals, or if you're just really trying to load some glaze on your piece there. I'll just use this brush for now because I'm glazing a pretty small surface and I'm naturally pretty heavy-handed. So I like to load my brush basically by stirring the whole top of the brush in the glaze. That's how I really know I have it loaded well. So I want it to look nice and plumped and then go on very smooth. If my brush starts to drag, that's when I apply more glaze to it. Really trying to spread it like icing on the surface. We're not just covering the surface. We really want it to be saturated. And you can tell because it doesn't dry in 1 second. So the first coat should dry pretty quickly, but it should not dry instantly. So just pay attention to that, and that'll be a good tell for your application thickness. Here we have our cone 6 results, 1, 2, and 3 coats. You can see what I was saying with the building from the dark brown to the lighter brown. And then we can see these wonderful red and purple undertones that happen. This great breaking over the texture. This is just a really, really nice glaze. And then we have the back here. So in order to showcase all of the variation, really varying your brush stroke thickness here. So you can see I had like a thicker area here, thinner down here, and that's how you're gonna see all of that the variation. If your application is more homogeneous, you're gonna get a lot more of just this flat, lighter brown color. So still a nice finish. And then we have our cone 5 results. The cone 5 results are pretty indistinguishable from the cone 6 results. I guess you could see ever so slightly how the more heat work caused this to melt down a little bit, which kind of makes it look brighter. So this modeling happened, and then here the modeling happened, and then it moved down. And so that's why we have a more color coverage here versus here. And then on the back, you can kind of see that here too. The light brown's a lot brighter on the cone 6 versus the cone 5. And then here we have our cone 10 results. So cone 10 results are sweet. We get a lot of that brown in red coming through and kind of eliminate a lot of this lighter brown, which it does showcase itself here where it's really thick. You see how it's pooling here and pulled down. We do have a bit of sag here, so this glaze does sag a bit at cone 10, but it's not highly mobile necessarily. You do see the mobility here, but that's a really, really heavy buildup, and it didn't even pull all the way down to the bottom. So you might want to recede your coats a little bit at cone 10, but nothing too crazy. All right, here we have our second coat. Our tile's not shiny anymore, so that's how you know you can apply more glaze. Just brush this on here like that. This second coat goes on a little bit smoother since our tile is going to be saturated. And that's 2 coats. Here we have our flux results. So this is flux applied underneath Tiger's Eye. I applied 2 coats of light flux, 2 coats of dark flux, and then 3 coats of Tiger's Eye on top. You can see it had some nice mobility. I love this blue that's brought in by the dark flux, as well as this speckling. And I'm not sure if that would be consistently represented, but it looks pretty cool on this tile. So here we have the back of the tile where I applied flux over the Tiger's Eye. So 3 coats of Tiger's Eye and then 2 coats of each flux on top. So we get a little bit less interaction. It kind of seems like here the Tiger's Eye is kind of like taking over, and this really blends in, which makes sense having the Tiger's Eye over the flux, whereas here it's just kind of the flux pulling some of those pigments down from the Tiger's Eye. But some really, really lovely colors, and we get these lovely striations happening here. And this creates some really cool effects, showcasing some depth and mobility. And then here we have it cone 10 with the fluxes. So this is the same application as the cone 6 tile on this side with the flux over the Tiger's Eye. It is cool that the light flux kind of brings in the lighter brown Tiger's Eye color that's missing in the front of the tile. So it's cone 6 and cone 10 reduction. You can see the reduction happening on this body here. Next we have our alternative clays. So on our alternative clay bodies, generally we do a cone 6 firing with a 10-minute hold. Tiger's Eye seems to play really well even without the hold, so do some testing. You might get away with it, but if you do have issues, definitely add that hold. Here we have cone 6 on a dark brown clay body. It gets really dark here. We do have some of the lighter brown, but that dark brown really kind of takes over color-wise. And then here we have it on a white speckled body. Looks pretty close to normal Tiger's Eye. We get the buildup and some more variation, a little bit of blue, purple happening in the background there. And then the speckled brown. So this doesn't seem to affect the color that much. I do see a lot of the time on speckled brown bodies only seeing this light brown color. You're not getting a lot of the blue and purple variation. I'm not really sure why that happens, but it is really common, and I really just think it's just kind of reacting with the body that you're using there. But you could try, if you do notice that you get a lot of this light brown, I would definitely try doing like 1 through 3 coats to see if maybe you just need to have a bit lighter of an application. And we'll get our last coat on here. Tile's nice, pretty dry. Your third coat there, and then on the back. So this third coat will go on even smoother, but definitely don't skimp on the application. You want it nice and even all over the piece. So there's 1, 2, and 3 coats. Fired to cone 6. This is what we'd be working with. Back. Oops, I made a mess. All right, so next we can check out the combos. So Tiger's Eye on its own is a very, very stable glaze. Even with thick applications here, we're not really getting much sagging or anything like that. This is a really, really reliable, stable glaze. But layering it with glazes, obviously the glaze that you're layering it with influences the outcome, so you can get a bit of mobility. Since it's a breaking glaze, I think that's kind of like the telltale sign, whether a glaze is going to be stiff or encouraged to be mobile. So if it's breaking over texture, that shows that it has some little bit of mobility in it, even if it's not running down your piece. So it can really be encouraged to move. A lot of glazes that's like an opaque matte, that's gonna have a lot harder time producing that mobility because it's so stiff. So as you'll see here, we've applied 2 coats of Tiger's Eye to the whole thing and then 2 coats of the combo glaze down to the bottom of the texture. This is Desert Dusk over Tiger's Eye. I really, really like this combo. And it does add mobility though. So Desert Dusk is one that will add a nice amount of mobility in combinations, especially if it has a heavy crystal loading, which you can see here. So that's definitely what's influencing that there. Here we have Coral Sands over Tiger's Eye. So again, 2 coats of Tiger's Eye, 2 coats of Coral Sands down to here. Get a little bit of mobility from that Coral Sands, and I love this frosted modeling that happens there. And then here we have Sea Salt over Tiger's Eye. So we get a bit of mobility here. I love this gloss and matte variation that happens. And then the microcrystals. So this is a really cool one to use in combination. Because sea salt is good in many combinations. All right, so I think that is all that I have for you today. Please check out our glaze combination gallery. It's totally searchable. We have cone 06, cone 6, and cone 10 combos. So you can find that on our website. Just in general, check out our website. It's an amazing resource if you have questions about products. If you want any inspiration, we have a wonderful project library, and we have a great resources tab that has all of our literature and brochures and educational content. So definitely, if you haven't, peruse our website. It is an amazing resource, all for you guys. So please leave any questions or comments for us. We love hearing from you. And thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you learned something about our glazes. And as always, make it Mako.